Welcome back to another video. My name is Gasper Jager and you're watching Production Diary series about me making my own game. Today we're going to be discussing the assets, right? What are the assets? Like, I'm mainly making this for like anybody new who's trying to get inspired. So if you're a seasoned pro, this is going to be boring for you. But for those of you kind of like starting out, assets are 3D objects, sounds, everything really that you take to kind of build up 3D environments, right? So can be buildings, vehicles, characters, anything really falls into that category. And the big reason for me that why I started learning Unreal in the first place was that there were a lot of assets to be used for free. So not so long ago, Epic Games had a place called Unreal Marketplace, which was basically a store for you to buy assets to use in your projects. And there were huge libraries of especially environmental assets and a couple of characters that you were able to get for free. So especially if you were using this for learning, this was really good because you were able to get free assets. So a lot of tutorial online featured these free assets that were available in the store. And I think this is quite amazing. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why Unreal picked up so much as in popularity as a tool, because people got assets. Because traditionally you had to sculpt your models, make your models, basically design your own art. And with the marketplace, like all of a sudden it really becomes cheap if you think about how amazing packs you can get for such a small amount of money. And the biggest thing for me was like, this is now FAB, right? So this is rebranded Marketplace, which used to be called Unreal Marketplace. Now FAB, with the idea that it's no longer just for Unreal Engine, but for everything 3D related. It's really good. There's a lot of stuff here. But the big thing is that they kind of kept, and I really like that, is on a marketplace, there used to be monthly free assets. And now it's called limited time free, which is basically this. These are hand-picked assets from the store that Epic is giving away. Like every few weeks they give away something. And these are normally very powerful things, stuff that you would spend money on to buy, which I know, like some weeks is better, some weeks is not as good, depending on what you want. But there's almost always something like environmental assets, like 3D meshes and stuff, some vehicles, some characters, and most of the time there's some sort of like logic behind it as well. Stuff that you maybe not implement directly, but at least you can open up and kind of see how other people design something and then try to design it yourself. And for me, this was like really the biggest thing, because as somebody who works in gaming, I understand how much work, money, and time goes into building your own assets. Why not just use pre-built assets, right? So if you're a single person, if you're a single developer, there's already so much time and effort that goes into just setting everything up. To make everything from scratch would be unrealistic. So if you're not an artist and the point of your game is that you're trying to build up your own art with your style and everything, if you're going for the realism, you should just come here, pick ruins and say like, wow, this is great. I mean, look at it. The level of details. How long would it take you to make that, right? And it costs $30 or like $60 if you're a company. That's nothing. That's 2 hours worth of your work if you think money wise. So it's an amazing thing. Like I really believe, and especially like if you're a smaller team, you gotta believe in the logic of work smarter, not harder, which means you gotta be smart and you gotta optimize as much as you can. Take assets which are made, manipulate them, manipulate the lighting, just build stuff as you go. And for me, this was a huge deal. So for the past 6 years, I've been hoarding a lot of free stuff, from the marketplace, from characters, from environments, from everything, from logics, sounds, blueprints, anything that I could get my hands on. Basically, even if I didn't need it, if it was free, I took it, right? I claimed everything possible. And now I have a huge library after years of, monthly free grabs that I can take and build pretty much anything I want. And then also, because I got excited, I bought a bunch of stuff as well. So I paid for things with my own money because I was excited, especially by some amazing creators. But for example, look, this is Epic Games' own proprietary stuff that they had for a game, which is, I think, no longer available. But look at the level of details, and you can do whatever you want. Like, you can use this stuff commercially, and it's truly, it's amazing. I mean, there's no excuse, right? You've got the stuff. You can make something that's doable, like this environment from Quixel. So for those of you who might not know, Quixel was a company that was doing photogrammetry stuff. Basically, they photo scanned assets, so they were really photorealistic in 3D. And Epic bought them, and as they bought them, they made the entire Quixel library for free. It's no longer for free. It was just in the beginning when FAB formed, but previously Quixel was completely free for anybody to use in Unreal Engine. And now it's no longer for free. Some of the stuff is, but this was amazing. For those of us who have been in the system for a while, we claimed all of those assets, and now we have like, 8,000 photogrammetry quality assets. And I mean, oh my God, look, like you can just grab this, it's beautiful, remodel it, make a video in it, or just, set up a scene with this. Like, the options are so limited. So for me, this is a very big thing, a part of my strategy, because I was thinking none of the big gaming studios would ever just buy an asset like this as a whole and use it directly, because they always want to make sure they're unique. They, pay attention about their, stuff. They would buy individual assets, but never say, just take this room and just use it as it is. And I would, right? Because why not? Like, this is a lot of time saved to set something up, to light it, to make it look amazing. So if I can just use something as it is, I will. And a lot of my basic plan was to build up like this core arena, which is also like a pre-built environment I got from the marketplace, modify just enough so that it was, okay for my needs, and then take whole levels and drop them in, and just take the parts of those levels that I needed, and then put blueprints, features on them, like spawn points and weapon systems and, healing places and everything else, like healing points, something. And then just gamify it. Right? Why not? Because those are some very, very talented artists that made those things. And if I were a company, I would have to hire somebody like that, pay them, they would make me that. And this way, I just kind of bought it, and a few minutes later, it's in my project. So my point of all this is, like, lean heavily on marketplaces. Like, take stuff that's been pre-built. Like, don't reinvent hot water, Take huge ass environments, take the parts that you need, grab the assets, like grab the characters. Why wouldn't you simplify your life and just, put content together? Of course, again, if this is something that you want, if you're not focused on building the art, but if you just mainly focused on the experience, oh my God, so many options. Like, I'm pretty sure I could make so many games out of just the stuff that I have grabbed so far, like take a look at this. It's basically Call of Duty out of the box, and you get it as a level. This is what you get. You drop it in, it's playable, bam. Work smart, not hard, truly, because there's so many hard things that need to be done if you're working on a project like this. So help yourself wherever you can, because it really is amazing that in a very quick way you can throw together a level and then play it, and then just adapt a few of your gameplay things that make your game unique and make it, yours. And then, I don't know, like, to me, it's just exciting. And honestly, like, I don't know, maybe there's people that do this all the time, but I've worked in gaming companies for a long time, and I've never seen people do that. And it always baffled me that why wouldn't somebody optimize the workflows so well? And maybe at fault is because some of those companies were very hardcore art driven. They gave a lot of point and focus on like original internally developed art. I get it, but I don't think it's too clever and too smart. And like I said, don't get me wrong, if you're an artist, if that's your thing, go for it, right? That's your forte. For me, I'm not, and I'm not going to be making my own 3D models and texture them and everything. What I will do is take the Legos, rebuild the Legos, relight the Legos, and then play with those Legos. See you next time.